For the last 5 years, I've been working in marketing, and 4 of those years I was running my own marketing firm, and we actually just sold it last February. It was a strategic buy from another bigger agency in our same niche. And so, yeah, I'm here to, Eric said it's pretty conversational, just people asking questions, so I'll give a little bit more background on what I just said, but then we can dive into questions. So,
what's the name of your company?
it's called Ortho Patients. So, I was working in marketing. My business is a swim school. So they teach babies how to swim. Somebody I know calls it a drown-proofing school. So it's like a survival swimming lesson thing. And they've been around forever. Maybe some of you have heard of them. It's called Swim Kids. So I got a marketing job working for them, and I tried everything under the sun. We did billboards, we did local events. I was like setting up booths at elementary schools, that kind of thing. And the thing I noticed, I even knocked doors actually to sell swimming lessons, believe it or not. But the thing I noticed that did the best was online ads. So we ran Facebook ads, and the minute we turned those on, it's like every mom in the Salt Lake and Utah Valley just clicking on the ad, asking how they could get their kids into swimming lessons. And I noticed not only was it the fastest, but it was the easiest to track, and we could actually tell it was getting us an ROI, whereas these other activities, there's no tracking on a billboard, there's no tracking on an event typically. So I dove as deep as I could into that, and after about a year, I started getting confident enough. I was like, oh, I think I could start to go into other niches and see what we could do with this Facebook advertising thing. And so I was talking to a friend one day, and he said, you should do orthodontics. It's like dental, but they have a constant need for new patients because they just treat out of braces, they treat out of Invisalign. The teeth are straight, they're good for another 20, 30 years. Or if they wear their retainers, they're good for life. So I said, all right, that's good enough for me. And I just reached out to an orthodontist in Orem, and I said, hey, I'm doing some research. Would you mind getting on the phone? We could talk about a few things when it comes to marketing. I could give you some tips. And I'm also just trying to learn more about the business model. So they got on the phone with me, and I ended up closing them as my first client, and charged them like $800 a month to run their Facebook ads. And the cool thing is that they're still a client today, almost 4 years later. So they've been a great client. They were kind of they gave me a chance in the orthodontic nation. And from there we scaled. We've worked with over 150 orthodontists all over the US and Canada. So our clients are not just local. We have more. I think we've only had 2 or 3 clients in Utah. But just sort of figured out how to get build up a brand name in that niche and continue to get more and more clients there. More and more people recognize that the results were really good, and eventually we realized it's not just the ads that these businesses needed help with, because we could generate, let's say, 30, 50 leads in a month for people that want braces or Invisalign, but the front office, the lady that was hired to work at the front office, or whoever was hired to work in the front office, was hired to like pretty much just answer the phone and book people who already knew about this office, already were sold on the opportunity, were very high intent buyers. And typically from social media, people come from scrolling cat videos or scrolling, just random other things, and they click on this ad. They're like, I'm interested in this, but there's actually only a 50% pickup rate. So if we generate 50 leads, 25 of those will pick up the phone. 25 of them are just like, we'll never pick up the phone, even if we call them 4 or 5 times. So we started to realize there was this big issue where the leads weren't actually being called. We could generate all these leads, but they were losing out on the ROI because nothing was happening there. So we decided to get together a team of scheduling coordinators that had previously worked in dental, worked in orthodontics, and we would take the leads that came in, give remote access to the scheduling software of that particular dental clinic or orthodontic clinic. And then we would call the leads for them, text the leads for them, we'd book them in their software. We'd even call to confirm the appointments, text to confirm the appointments. And our retention went way up because we took so much off the plate of the orthodontist. It's just a very key turnkey thing, allowed us to increase our prices as well as keep clients a lot longer. So that's kind of the origin story. Eventually, as I mentioned, the company that ended up buying us noticed they were losing out to a lot of sales. They're about 10 times our size, but they were still losing out to sales from our company. And so a friend of a friend actually introduced us, And we went through like the 9-month process of kind of due diligence. They decided it was worth it for them. And it finally went through in February. It's a long, painful process, but really happy that it did. And now I'm going into more of like consulting other marketing agencies, helping them figure out how to install those appointment booking processes, how to get more clients faster, etc. So that's my story. Welcome into questions, I guess.
So did you take the receptionist to be the person that helped with the leads to do the other contacting them for the ones that got lost along the way from the reception?
Yeah, so we'll continue to follow up with them, but like the marketing term is only 3% of any market is good to buy at any time. So let's say you're an orthodontist, convenience radius is 4 to 7 miles max. 3% of the people in that 4 to 7 miles are ready to buy braces at any given time. Probably more like 1 to 3%. And so if they submit their info, it's probably likely that they're going to get braces at some point in the next 3, 4, 5 years. It might not be right now. And so we would, yes, continue to hold those leads, but honestly, the conversion rate on those was quite low. Usually if somebody submitted something, they, are getting followed up with 6, 7, 8 months later. They're just like, who is this? Why are you contacting me? So we'll continue to email, text them, call them if there are slow days, but the conversion rate is the best on that speed to lead. The quicker we got to them, the quicker we looked at it. Yeah.
What social media do you believe it's the most effective to engage with your potential clients nowadays?
Yeah, it really depends on the niche. For example, I was talking to a company that does concrete lifting the other day. And if you don't know what that is, like cracks in the concrete, and they'll go and put like epoxy underneath so it levels it out. And we were talking about TikTok versus Facebook. Like TikTok's blowing up, but Facebook is like way more established, right? And generally, my hunch would be, and I could be totally wrong, marketing is just a fancy word for testing at the end of the day, so we could test out TikTok with them, but they were like, the more established homeowners that really care about this thing are probably gonna have Facebook accounts over TikTok accounts. So that's what we went with there. However, if you're doing like an e-commerce product, like there's a like a fancy shower head I saw one time on TikTok that's like has really good water pressure. That thing just blew up on TikTok because that's the kind of thing that goes viral on TikTok anyway. You put some spend behind it, more people are going to buy there. So it all depends on the target market. That's the answer.
Okay.
Yeah, but to add on to that, TikTok is way cheaper than Facebook because Facebook has so much more, just so many more people advertising on it. It's so much more established. So the average cost to reach 1,000 people on Facebook versus TikTok is going to be like probably half on TikTok or even less, depending on the niche.
Okay, so do you think will it be good to like understand like the algorithm of getting like views or like to buy ads? Like which one would you prefer?
Yeah, again, it really depends on the business. So, and both honestly are indispensable. Like, let's say you're a local gym, for example, and all you do is run ads and you don't have anything on your page. Some people are going to go to that ad instead of clicking through to like submit name, phone, email. They're going to go to your page. If there's nothing there, it's like, oh, who are these people? Why would I do business with them? The other benefit of organic reach, which is anything that's not paid, is it's free, obviously, but you usually have to put a lot more time, effort, thought into trying to go viral than on the paid side of things where you can just pay. Like, okay, this is a pretty good ad, it'll probably convert pretty well, let's throw $1,000 a month behind it. And that's consistent, it's gonna reach people no matter what. Whereas the viral side of things, like, okay, we're viral for a couple of days and then everybody forgot about us. So it depends, but you need to have a good presence, kind of a good page for them to land on to see what you're all about. And then the ads kind of bring more people into that funnel, that page. Yep.
So forgive me if you have already gone over this, but what had kind of led you to specifically get into marketing for orthodontic treatments?
Yeah, honestly, I knew I needed to niche down. Like I needed one specific industry there's a million different reasons for that, but basically it's a lot easier to market to them when you're like, yeah, we worked with 50 other orthodontists. We know what to do for you. And you understand their business better, so you can market better for them. And then also like, if you think about somebody searching like marketing help or like marketing agency, how many marketing agencies are there? Thousands and thousands, but marketing agent for orthodontist, like I'm going to be on the top search of Google just because there aren't that many.
For sure. And then actually this one leads into another question too, is like, what was kind of your thought process on like finding that niche?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so when it comes to picking an industry to go into, there's a few different things. First one is total addressable market. So how big is it? Orthodontist, there's about 10,000 in the US alone. And we went into Canada as well. We could have expanded to like UK and Australia, but there's more advertising like restrictions there when it comes to healthcare. So anything over 10,000 is typically pretty good. That's a pretty small niche, to be honest. Dental is way bigger, but niching down that far helped us more than it hurt us. On the other hand, I have marketing agencies that I've worked with that are trying to go into something like LASIK eye surgery, which is excellent, like very similar elective procedure to improve like the looks or just like the benefit of your everyday lifestyle. Very similar price point to orthodontics as well. However, there's only like 1,000 to 2,000 in the US. So you could reach out to every single one of them. And again, that 3% rule, only 3% will be ready to buy. And so you're going to run out of people to market to pretty quickly. Doesn't mean you can't build a really successful agency there. It just means that it's going to take more time, more effort, and you're going to be waiting longer for people to reach out to because there's just not as many. So picking a niche, total addressable market is big. Average price point. So I was speaking to an agency the other day that's in the barber, like they were helping independent barbers get more clients. And if you're working with somebody that charges $20, $30 a haircut, very different than an orthodontist who charges $5,000 for a set of braces. Because they can't pay you as much, they don't earn as much, so your agency can't be as profitable, and also you can't spend as much on ads, right? Like you have to be really, really nimble and spend very little on ads to get even less return than you would if you were marketing a higher price product. And $5,000 is low. Like there are like excavators, anything in the real estate, like home services niche can be $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. In the dentistry realm, like replacing your teeth, like all of your teeth all on fours is what it's called, upwards of $20,000, $30,000 sometimes. And so if you're going to market for something that's worth $5,000, why not market for something that's worth $30,000? So finding that where basically they have the money to pay. So the advice I gave to this person who was working with barbers was like, let's go to high-end salons that are servicing women over men. Men are much less likely to pay really high amounts of money for a haircut or a color or something like that. Women spend a lot more money on beauty in general, so let's go that way. They're going to earn a lot more money. They're going to spend a lot more money. And you're going to have a better time. So total addressable market, how much is your client making? How much does your client's client pay them? And then lastly, is just like what you have expertise in, or maybe a little bit of it in. So for me, like I had grown up in a local family-based business, and orthodontists are very similar to that. It's almost always the doctor that's the CEO and the like he wears all the hats, he runs it, he's the business owner, and then they have between 10 and 20 employees. And I was very comfortable in that environment. I knew what that was like, and I had grown up giving customer service in that realm. And so it just felt like a natural next step for me. So a friend of mine, his dad's really into e-commerce. So he got into e-commerce and was helping e-commerce schools with their marketing because that's what he knows. So I'd say those are the three main things I think of when it comes to choosing a niche. Total addressable market, how much they charge, and then what niche knowledge or industry knowledge you have that would give you an unfair advantage over somebody else trying to get into that niche. We have a question here.
Yeah, so with the paying for ads, when you're with swim kids,
Mhm.
you just went and said, hey, let's try out these ads, give you this amount of money, and then they did well, because how much did it cost? Because knocking doors and setting booths is relatively free,
Yeah.
but then that's kind of a bigger step to do lots of ads.
Yeah, so that was the benefit there is that I was just getting paid hourly and never like figured it out. So my brother, who was the CEO at the time, was saying like, look, let's do we've talked to Aqua Tots, which is another like big franchise swim school. And the main things they do is like community outreach, social ads, and I can't remember what the third one was. So I sort of wrote down those 3 things. I was like, okay, we got to figure out each of these 3. And the social ads were like, I definitely wasted a lot of money at the beginning, but they were paying me to learn it. So
You're what?
they were paying me to learn how to run the ads, right? So if you were to reach out to a local business and help, try to get one client and help them with that, you could offer to do it for free or cheap or just work hourly at the beginning to learn that process. And as far as the amount of money that it takes to actually get results, it really depends on the industry and the platform. As I said, TikTok's a lot cheaper, so you could, where you'd spend $1,000 on Facebook, you'd probably spend $500 on TikTok and get similar results. However, TikTok's targeting is like abysmal compared to Facebook. You can only target like you could literally say Salt Lake City, like greater Salt Lake City area, versus on Facebook you could literally do a mile around the scope if you wanted to. So it depends. But yeah, basically study up. There's tons of free tutorials out there on how to run ads like this. The biggest thing is learn marketing in the first place. So copywriting, like how do you write a good ad, how do you get attention, how do you get people to stop scrolling? That kind of thing is universal. It doesn't matter what platform you're on, it doesn't matter what the algorithm is. It's just like a billboard needs to grab your attention just like a social media ad needs to grab your attention. So learn how to do that. And then the targeting is probably pretty straightforward. And when you think about it, the average business owner is between 40 and 60 right now. So a lot of boomers retiring, a lot of boomers like kind of at the end of their career. And they've built up these household names wherever they live, but they don't know, how to compete with this new competition that's coming in town that's younger, that's on social media and does all this stuff. So even no matter what you do, it's going to be a win for the business as long as you don't spend like tens of thousands of dollars with no return. But they're still getting their name out there. They're still getting this brand awareness. As long as the ads are like look good, they're sending people somewhere where they can submit their information, where they can tell friends and family about it, then it's going to be a net positive for the business. So yeah, cool. We had one back here.
So I'm actually do my own e-commerce. I found out on a website called Teespring. How do it? And I actually tried the Facebook ads that they gave you like free $100 to do an ad. I'd like no outreach. What's like would be a good way to get like people to like buy my t-shirts?
Yeah, so Teespring is like print on demand. Yeah. So for those who don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like you make the design, somebody comes, checks out, buys it, and then you just go to Teespring, like basically just routes to Teespring. They print the shirt. And send it to you.
Yeah. Basically, I have no business cost if I do that.
Yeah.
I made the designs for shirts, leggings, accessories. They've expanded their product line quite a bit.
Cool.
And then they develop the product or they source the product and it gets shipped out.
Got it. And so what were you sending people to your own website?
That's what I tried to do, but I created a Facebook ad and it got like no outreach.
Yeah. Where were you hosting the website?
Well, it was a store being hosted on Teespring.
On Teespring. Okay. Yeah, so I'd say that's your issue. Like if you're sending them to a website that's like not your own, really, like it's a Teespring, like I assume it's like subdomain.teespring.com.
It's a store I set up on.
Yeah. But does it have your own domain or does it say Teespring on it when they click to go there?
It's a Teespring.
Yeah. So I would say if you're trying to sell something, like the main thing is differentiation. So they go to Teespring, like maybe they like yours, maybe they don't, maybe they can navigate away and look at the thousands of other things on that site. If I were you, I would figure out how to set up a Shopify store with the exact same thing, but those are the only checkout on that Shopify store. So they go there, they're like, okay, these shirts are cool, I'm gonna check out. They buy that, and then you figure out how to route it through Teespring, so you don't have as much business costs there. But just spending, the budget was probably a problem as well, like $100 when you're brand new Facebook ads isn't gonna go too far.
Because I don't know if you can route Teespring through Shopify. Is it?
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm not too familiar, but the concept is like it's like sending somebody to your Amazon listing. Like they could check out from your Amazon listing, but they might check out another product as well, right? From Facebook.
So I can set up Shopify store or Shopify website. And then it goes to Teespring.
Yeah, or maybe they just check out, you receive the order, and then you go to Teespring and you order it from there.
Oh.
People do that all the time. It's called drop shipping. Like print on demand is drop shipping, but for principles like shirts and stuff. But like anyway, they'll go to China. They'll go to Alibaba, look at all these cheap products they're selling for 10 times markup on Amazon, create their own product or store on Shopify, and then just somebody orders from their store on Shopify, they go to Alibaba, order it, and ship it to the customer. Similar concept, right? Sorry, did you have something?
No, good.
No.
Oh, yeah, so going back to, you said that, the social media was really good, but there was like a 50% that you got and 50% lost, and then you guys started doing the warm leads. And I have decades of calling and customer service, and back in the day, that's all you had when there was no social media. But and I started with a small auditing firm in Salt Lake in 2012, and so I called business to business across the country, and we lowered businesses' credit card transaction fees by about 50%. And so I would call them and had to find the person that's in charge. And I really liked it though, and it did really well. But then over the years, it got to be, then they started doing a webinar where they just presented that way. And then the people that wouldn't automatically start with the business developers, I would contact them and circle them back around. And I would say it makes it a lot more personal when you talk to them that way. You can answer any questions and get things moving faster. But then they started doing social media, and it really became, after years, that was their big thing. And then my job just kind of, after 12 or a decade, it kind of got eliminated. So now I'm back to college to finish the degree. I started before my mission, but I really missed that, with my generation, the personable of talking. But with social media, it's so fast and easy to get people that way too. But have you, you said that at the beginning that you sold 3 years ago. Was that the swim thing?
No, I sold the marketing company a month ago.
Oh, a month ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you had that for 5 years?
4 years.
For 4 years. Oh, okay. And what was that one?
That's orthopedic.
That's the orthopedic. Oh, okay. So when you were growing up, your family business was the swimming thing, and did you do ortho on your own?
Yeah, so I worked in the family business like as a swimming teacher growing up. Started marketing for them in 2018.
Okay.
2018. And then I worked for them for about a year, and that really helped me gain the skill. And then I just kind of turned them into clients and working for them.
Oh, okay.
How was that transition? Was your brother okay with that?
Oh yeah, they're fine.
Was it cheaper for them to be a client than?
I think it was about the same. I wasn't work. I would work like max 15 hours a week, I think.
Okay.
So and I was obviously very grateful for the opportunity. So I didn't charge them that much. It was great to continue getting experience, but eventually it was taking so much headspace that I just had a friend who's like, you should take over this, because they had a lot more needs, and I was focused on them with the beach. So they're fine. Yeah, my family's. We actually just, because I sold the company, I have a little bit more time now. We're doing some SEO work for the family business now. So
Is that what you're doing now? Back to the family business?
I'm doing consulting mainly.
Oh,
for
okay.
other marketing agencies, yeah. To answer, or I know we talked about like this, kind of your position becoming
Right.
obsolete. So this one-to-many trend is a very online business thing, where like that offer you were talking about, hey, we'll lower your credit processing costs.
Right.
pretty much a no-brainer for any business owner.
Yeah,
And so if you could sell, basically what I assume what the business owner saw was, look, we could have these people calling one-to-one, or we could do a webinar where 300, 500, 1,000
Exactly.
people could show
Mhm.
up. We can get the
Right.
same pitch, they'll buy anyway,
Yeah.
because it's not like this
and, right,
massive price. You know?
and they just did it once a week, and then they would, business would sign up automatically, and then I would get the leftover that got lost in the shuffle, like I was saying, and so, but, and then it was, we give them a savings on their fees, and then we just split whatever the savings was, we do an audit, and if it was like 5,000 a month, they got half and we got half, so that it was a really easy thing. I learned a long time ago that when you're in a firm, you never ask for money, you just offer a free service to start with for them to learn about it, of course, but, yeah, and then in the end with COVID, we like, the first year of COVID was our best year because nobody had anything else to do, so webinars were just like cool. And then it kind of, with inflation, we had to like increase the volume amount for them to qualify, so it kind of trickled. And then I had an accident and got a problem with my spine, and so I kind of had to take some time off, and then they ended up just with so much social media, they just put the business developers in charge of each one instead of having extra, so they just, but it worked out because I really like her, but yeah, it's just amazing how things have changed over time, because back in my parents' day, it was corded phones, and or no phone, 'cause my parents were born in the 30s, but anyway, so.
Yeah.
But it's and then now there's so much social media that my daughter was telling me another one that's come along, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like so much to choose from.
Yeah, so the webinars actually typically have like a cap on what they could sell. It's about $3,000, like selling something,
With yours, you mean?
no, just in general.
Oh, no,
Selling
with
something
ours, yeah, it was different.
over, I mean, your
They-
offer is
they-
quite different.
And we also, a lot of them, we contacted accountants too, because accountants had to do their CP credits per year. And that webinar is a 2-for-1 for them to learn about us and get the
That's
credits.
great. That's great.
And so it opened a lot of doors that way.
Anyway, if you wanted to get into like a similar appointment setting position, calling people, anything that's above about that $3,000 range
Uh-huh.
typically can't be sold on a webinar. And so they'll do these one-to-one.
Oh, okay.
Like, okay, you would call them, say, hey, how's it going? We'd love to get you booked in for a sales call, which is very
Right.
similar
Right.
to orthodontics. It's a
Mm-hmm.
free
Yeah.
consultation, but it's a sales appointment. So
And then after being there for about 5 years, we started emailing, because
Yeah.
phones got less. And then now it's just like, my job is really obsolete with voice. I don't even use my voice anymore, and so, and then it's just turned to a lot of email and social media, but now I want to open my own business too, so I need some marketing help to
that's great.
get your email. Contact you.
Do we have, I think we have one here, then we'll go to your. Did you have one?
Yeah, I don't know, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah.
About your personal opinion on affiliate marketing.
Mhm.
What do you think about those companies?
Yeah, affiliate marketing is like the ultimate partnership, I would say. What specifically have you looked into, just so I have a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know, like I've seen like a lot of these like gurus that are always talking about,
Yeah.
Like connect to this website and you will receive a lot of information. Then, like what do you think about that?
So for those who don't know, affiliate marketing is, let's say I have a product and you sell it for me, you get a commission every single time it's sold. But this can get really scalable. For example, let's say you had a big YouTube channel and you were like, I'm going to recommend this specific product. I don't know, like a case for your phone or something like that. I love these cases for my phone. You click on my link, I'm going to make $2 if the case is $10 for every one that I sell. So with affiliate marketing, you do products which aren't as profitable because it's just a one-time sale. Or you can do software, which is my favorite. So I personally do a decent amount of affiliate marketing just because I have a lot of marketers talking to me. So I recommend products that I like and I just send them my link. And so the really cool thing about software is if you find a really good software that you can stand behind, and you like and you know how to use, then that person uses it for, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They clicked your link, you're getting money every single month that they pay that. So person I know makes over $100,000 a year just from having recommended a software called ConvertKit to a ton of people, and that's an email marketing software. So he loves it, he recommends it. A bunch of people have clicked on his link, a bunch of people have signed up, they continue to have it. He just gets paid for having referred them once. So I think the software side is much better. There is a ton of money to be made on the product side as well, but the software is a little bit more long-term. Yeah, but it's absolutely legit, just not, I wouldn't sell products off ClickBank, if that's what you've heard. Okay, they're kind of like the low quality.
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah, so you have this depth of knowledge in this marketing field. Is this all self-taught or?
Oh, that's a great question. So I'm actually giving a presentation to the Academy of Finance students in Grant School District about kind of self-education. So I went to a year at BYU, and I didn't love college. I didn't love there were some very cool things about it, but I just felt like I was learning so much more from my job. And so I was like weighing the pros and cons. Am I gonna stay in school? Am I not? And I decided, let me take a semester off so I can make this work. And by the end of I started in April, like really full time, and by December, I was really happy with where my income was at, and like knew that was the right path for me. So as soon as I really decided that I was going to take it seriously, I bought a course, and I invested in like a personal mentor to get on phone calls with me and like walk me through. I could message him whenever I needed to, or could voicemail like, hey, I'm about to get on a sales call. What advice do you have about this? And that was transformational. Like, you don't really need anything besides a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection these days to start a marketing company, or a lot of companies that would affiliate marketing, like you was mentioning. However, the money that you should be spending is on somebody who's walked the path before you and can really recommend the specific things that you should be doing and tell you what to focus on, because everything seems important as a beginner. So I've just sort of systematically said, I want to learn this thing. Who's done this before? Let me find them. Let me pay them. I'm going to do this again and again over time. And I'll continue doing that my whole life, just because it's the fastest way I've found to get where I want to go. Because like books are great. I've read tons of books, but there's nothing like a person who 3 years ago was where you are now, telling you exactly what they did and what to do in your specific situation. So it's a lot of courses, a lot of books, a lot of one-on-one conversations.
Is there the courses, are you taking it from a certain vendor? Or just how are you finding them?
Yeah, you kind of have to, like you were saying, there's a lot of people online selling a lot of stuff that's very hyped up, and there's very little substance behind. And so I sort of fell into those traps at the very beginning, but eventually I call your BS meter, like, okay, what's going on here? Like, is this person telling the truth or not? And you get a pretty good read on people. So I'll find them. Typically, a lot of these people have free stuff on YouTube or whatever social media platform, and I'll find them and just listen to a lot of their free stuff and be like, okay, seems like they know what they're talking about, and take a long enough time to see if their free stuff is better than the average thing out there, if they're sharing things that are unique. And then typically they'll have some sort of program. And so I'll just reach out and buy what we have. Yeah, so there are other course seller or like course platforms. Skillshare is one, Udemy is one. They're okay. There can be like really good things on there. But what I find is like most entrepreneurs, that issue is between their 2 ears. Like it's mostly just mindset. And you can't really, you could watch every Facebook ads course in the world and still not feel confident enough to run a Facebook ad without somebody who's like, hey, I'll help you out if it goes wrong. So that's my kind of combining all those things are crucial for me.
But it sounds like the mentor was the most important thing. Finding good mentors.
Yeah. And they're everywhere. There's bad ones, but there's also very good ones. And I prefer to pay just because it formalizes a relationship. So even if it's, I mean, plenty of you probably have a mentor that you could find somewhere that would help you out for free, but they may not have the specific skill that you want in the specific way that you need it. So if you can find that person, and then you can say, hey, let me pay. It formalizes things in a way that doesn't otherwise happen, because like a few weeks ago, I was like, cool, we got on a call with this guy, seems really cool, he's gonna teach me a few things, and then he didn't show up because I didn't pay. So that kind of stuff doesn't happen, you go faster, everybody pays more attention and does better work when there's money exchanged.
So, and are you doing that now? Are you mentoring people now?
Yeah, so that's the majority of the consulting I do.
How do you find it?
Yeah, like I said, just like if you go to YouTube right now and type in, you know, how to start a marketing agency, how to start affiliate marketing, how to start a business, whatever. I mean, there's a million different types that you could start, but find the one that you think fits you, and then go to YouTube and find, you know, watch 10 different people's intro video on that specific thing. Find the one that you vibe with the most. See if they have some sort of coaching or something like that. Reach out to them. That's how I do it. Typically, like, the world's so small nowadays because of the internet. The other place you can do is like Reddit, Facebook groups. There's a Facebook group and a Reddit subreddit for like literally anything you can dream of. So you can go ask a few questions there. No promises on like how good the answers are going to be, but they might be able to connect you with someone who knows or get on a call with someone who knows. So I have a friend that he's trying to go marketing in the telecom niche, and I was just like, look, just go to LinkedIn and message everybody that has telecom in their bio and say, can I pay you for an hour of your time? I'm just trying to do some research. Or, hey, I'm trying to do some research, want to break into this specific industry. Can we sit down? Can we go to lunch? You know, whatever. And that was, you know, that's the paying is the fastest route. If that's a problem, like you can't find free ones, but it's going to be fewer and farther.
So what's the average price you should pay? Fair.
It's a good question. Depends what, like, it depends. There's people selling really, really expensive stuff. If you're beginner, I would say, I paid here. I'll give you an example of what I paid. So my mentor was like 2 months, and I paid him. He was $1,500 for 2 months, so $750 a month. And then I bought another course that was $1,500 as well. So it's like a total of $3K. And that got me started like really well. And then eventually, like, you don't know what you don't know. So I bought another course, and I bought another one, and they range from, you know, I think 5,000 is probably the most expensive one I've done, to like $10 for a course that's like okay. But it depends what you want to learn, right? Because some of them are not. Some skills are just not going to be as highly valued in the marketplace, so the other courses are mentorships very much. Eric, did you have a question?
No.
Oh, okay. Anybody else?
What's a book you recommend?
Ooh, that's a good one. For marketing or just in general?
It's one for both.
Yeah, Essentialism, really good.
Essentialism?
Yeah, Essentialism, Greg McEwen.
What's that?
It's just about pursuing less instead of more. It's really, really good. I've read that one like 10 times. It's like my life philosophy of the book, I think. And then marketing, really good intro to marketing would be Influence by Robert Cialdini.
Robert who?
Cialdini, Cialdini, or IN, yeah.
CI.
I don't know,
Okay.
sorry, CAIL, Cal, DINI.
And Robert, you said?
Mhm. Sounds really good. It's like very psychology, but marketing is just all psychology.
So it's called Influence.
Influence, yeah.
Introduction to marketing.
Yeah. Intro to like psychology of everything, basically. He talks about really interesting things in that book. The Hare Krishna group, I don't know if anybody knows about that. You get at like a trade station and they want you to donate to, I think it's their church or some sort of religious orientation, so they'll give you like a flower first. And like they literally, every stranger will just come by, flower, 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 flower. And if you take the flower, then they'll ask you to donate. And he talks about the principle of reciprocity. So when you're given to, you're more likely to give. And so he ran an experiment where he sent, I want to say it was like 300 Christmas cards to people that didn't know him. And he got like 50 back, and they didn't even know who he was. And it's reciprocity. So principle of marketing is give value, give whatever else first, and like we're more likely to make sales.
And that was, that was the marketing book,
Mhm.
Robert, okay, cool.
Yeah,
The
actually,
introduction to marketing.
yeah,
Oh, nice, okay.
yeah, really good book. Trying to think of other books. Massive list. But I always forget the spot. Any other questions?
Did you get into Eric? No, just-
Yeah, I can do that.
How have you dealt with like healthcare businesses? Like, have you ever done some marketing with them?
Healthcare?
Yeah, with healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, orthodontics is technically healthcare. It's like a elective surgery. Do you mean like a specific, like?
Oh, yeah, you said that one, right? The dentist.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with them?
What do you mean? What specific?
Like, how, like, did you like create like a marketing with them? Like, which social media or?
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram is where we advertise for the dentists, for orthodontists. TikTok's doing really well for one of my clients right now. But again, the targeting there is kind of really hard, but it's way cheaper. Google works as well. It just depends on the market. Somewhere like Austin, Texas, it's just like so busy, so many orthodontists that you have to pay like $50 a click on Google. Whereas somewhere it's like more small town. That's the other thing about ads in general. Like we have a client, middle of nowhere, Tennessee, and we can spend $1,000 with them and get like a crazy ROI. But you go to New York, spend $1,000, and it's like you're barely going to buy. Because more people are bidding on those cities because there's more people. It's just more expensive in general.
So like here in Utah, like we have like the LDS church a lot, right?
Mhm.
So if we do like advertising more related, like with LDS and Jesus Christ and things like that,
Mhm.
maybe we can attract them more to like go to like a clinic or to any other place.
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't say. No, I think it would be a bad idea because everybody that's not a member of the church or
Wow.
LDS would be like commenting on that, like, are you discriminating? Would probably violate some policies. But yeah, you have the right idea. Like, you've got to understand the market. So, like, people in Utah love a discount, whereas like people who live in really bougie areas and like to pay for expensive things like Beverly Hills, very different marketing in Beverly Hills than Lehigh, Utah.
Or like it depends like in the population too, but like not make it very like obvious, like
Yeah, but understanding who the people are, what they care about, etc. Yeah.
okay, because like you are not gonna have too much people like in Utah if like you say like we're gonna bring some beers in the let's say the barber shop.
Yeah.
Because people usually don't drink alcohol here.
Yeah. Right. Potentially. You got something?
Just thinking about it, have you ever read the book, The 4-Hour Workweek?
Mhm.
So there was this interesting marketing strategy where they would like create like a product, but they wouldn't even make it the product, but they would design like an ad for it, and they would just test it on social media to see if people made it to the buy page.
Yeah.
And it was basically free to do it all.
Yeah, it's called shadow testing. So another book, Personal MBA. It's a little bit dry, but it's really good. Like it takes some time to get through, but very good. Joshua Kaufman. He calls it shadow testing. So it's literally like, let's say we wanted to start I don't know, like some sort of e-commerce company, some product, some viral TikTok product that we wanted to be viral, right? So we'd get the samples from a supplier, and then we'd buy maybe 5 to 10 of them, test them out, make sure they actually work, throw up some ads, see what the response is. Maybe spend $100-$200 on ads. The response is like crazy, you're like, oh, we got proof of concept here. And then you spend $100 to $200 and maybe $100 to $200 on product instead of, I'm ready to start this business. I'm going to, invest $10,000 and you're out $10,000. It's just like the concept of small testing. It's very big. Like anyone, like Elon Musk did with the Cybertruck. He's like, we're going to launch the Cybertruck. Go pay $100 to go to this website, and then you get one for cheaper when it launches. Then they know if there's demand. They know how much demand there is.
What was that book?
The personal MBA.
The personal MBA.
4-Hour Work Week is excellent as well.
That sounds like that might have like a more in-depth information on how
Yeah.
to do that. It kind of just goes over it quickly.
He's really good. Yeah, the book is good because it's like he literally just covers every aspect of marketing. And I think his tagline is like, skip the degree, just read the book or something like that. And he goes over like the ROI of an MBA, whether or not it's actually worth it. But it's like business can seem like this big thing, like, oh, I could never understand everything there is to know about business. That's true to a degree, but he covers all the basics. So you're like, okay, I understand what's going on here. Another one that's good for just business in general, the E-Myth Revisited, Michael Gerber. It's like the all-time bestseller forever and always. It's about
Michael what?
Michael Gerber,
Remember?
the E-Myth, yeah.
What's it about?
And who was the one with personal MBA? The author?
Joshua Kaufman. The E-Myth is about, so it gives the example of like a pie, baking, like a bakery, and the big pies. So when people start businesses, he has what they call an entrepreneurial seizure. So this lady's like baking pies for another bakery. She's like, no way, I'm gonna bake my own pies. Like, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm gonna do this. And so she goes and opens her own bakery. And then she realizes that she's a technician, not a business owner. So technician is the person that bakes the pies, the person that runs the Facebook ads, the person that does whatever the thing is that the business does. The actual like fulfiller of that is the technician. So she realizes she's a technician, not a business owner. So she needs to become a business owner. And it talks about how to get yourself out of the technician role, become the business owner, and how to train the people underneath you with systems and processes. So everybody needs a job. Everybody needs that job written down. They need a description so that they don't go outside of that. So let's say you're starting a business with 3 partners. Everybody needs a written job description. You need to get an org chart written out. Okay, this person's in charge of marketing. This person's in charge of sales. This person's in charge of product. This is what it means to be in charge of product. This is what they're supposed to do. These are when they're going to meet. This is when they're going to meet every week. This is what, the KPIs or the targets that this person has to do. And so it just goes over, it's a really helpful way to think about all those systems and getting like a manual written out for the business.
I've been taking, last semester I took marketing 1010, now I'm doing marketing 1030, and last semester we did that at in our group project. We had like 4 or 5 in our group, and we had to do a CFO, a COO, a CHMO for human resources, like all these things that you don't even think of, because everybody just thinks CFO or COO, but there's the tech CEO, there's so many different things. And when we were doing that, I mean, it was just so easy because when you had a question, you know exactly who to go to. So it's way organized when you break it down with the position and who's doing what.
Yeah, it's massive. It makes a really big difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and with the, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, and I guess I was just thinking about like going back to like finding your niche, like with product. Like other than just like Googling if like this thing's the real thing? Like, are there any other tactics of like finding if someone's already doing that?
What specifically, like the product?
Yeah, like a
e-commerce
product.
product or?
Yeah, just something simple as a product.
Yeah. So a big, like probably the biggest misconception about business in general is that you have to do something brand new to succeed. You don't, like you can literally take the most successful business in the world, which is insurance companies, like they've been around the longest, and you could just do it better, faster, and like for cheaper. And that would be a way better business than like trying to invent the next like Tesla or something. It's like so out there. So I think most business owners, most first-time entrepreneurs, there's a spectrum, like level 0 entrepreneurship is like washing cars on Saturdays, and level 10 is starting SpaceX. Most first-time entrepreneurs try to go here, and they should start here. They should start like just getting the basic principles down with a proven business model, something that's, you know, like very basic. And at the end of the day, it's just arbitrage. Like you could literally, people do it all the time, actually. Like something will start selling well on Amazon, and like a bunch of people just make copycats and go sell it. And like it's technically, unless it's patented, it's not illegal. So I'm not saying you should take that exact approach, but just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean it's not a great idea. It doesn't mean there's not a massive market for it. It's an unfulfilled need. So stop trying to invent the next app or like the next big thing, and just think, what's a business I know I can make work, and then try to get one customer and then try to get two. Back here.
Here. So I actually also run a little art business.
Art?
I've got art business.
Okay.
I'm a commissioned artist.
Oh, okay.
And marketing was one of my biggest issues.
Mm.
I have a functioning website right now, but still get like 0 revenue. What would be some good platforms? Because I know that Meta wants to take down Facebook in the near future.
Mhm.
Would be some good platforms to get like money and to get my stuff out.
Yeah.
Example there.
Actually, I have a friend, really cool story. There's I think we're done.
Yeah, we're close to the end.
Okay, I'll tell this, then we can close out, but he's, there's a cool nonprofit called Hustle 2.0. They help formerly incarcerated people start businesses because it's really hard for them to get jobs. So I was helping out with them for a little bit, and he was like, he paid his, I forget what it's called, but he had to pay off the victim of his crime, that person's family, while he was in jail. It's really, really hard to make money while he was in jail. And so he was just painting, like became this incredible painter, like commissioned artist like you. He was doing murals in LA, things like that when he got out. And the advice I gave him was just film, just show what you're doing. So get your phone, like buy a little phone tripod and like film yourself drawing, speed it up, put it on TikTok. Speed it up, put it on Instagram Reels, speed it up, put it on Facebook Reels. And people eat that stuff up. Like I guarantee you go on TikTok, like one of the first 10 things that's going to pop up is somebody doing some kind of art, and people love watching how that works. And so you get the exposure that way, the people recognizing what you're doing, and then all of a sudden you've got cities reaching out to you, people reaching out to you, projects or commissions.
So do like really quick reels on platforms that
Yeah.
focus.
Thanks, guys.